Welcome back to more on AWA, Ask Will Anything, where we chat with innovative thinkers at the forefront of blockchain industry. Today, we're looking at Ultra, which is a gaming project that has been over 2 years in the making, and it's picking up speed really, really fast. We have both the co-CEOs, David and Nicolas, with us here today, and they are both veterans in the video gaming industry. Welcome, guys. Before we dive into Ultra, could you give us a better introduction of yourselves?
Hey, Peter. Thanks for having us today. Yeah, definitely. So probably I will intro both of us because we worked a lot together and we know actually each other for the past, I think, 20 years now. We actually met each other playing Counter-Strike back in the days, creating teams, going to tournaments worldwide. And essentially, we had really good connection and friendship. So we decided to move into business together. We started first by creating B2B companies in the IT space to see a little bit how we can work together. It was in Belgium. It got acquired by a financial group in Belgium. Then we decided actually to move to China to pursue our passion in the game industry. So we moved there. We created a mobile game studio, then a PC game studio. The PC game studio actually was acquired later on by Kingsoft, which is also a known Chinese company. And then in parallel to that, we created monetization strategy company. So essentially offering to the very large publishers and brands, how can they make more money out of the same game or the same application? So driving user acquisition, retention, increasing the LTV. So many ways for them to make more money out of the same thing. And then shortly after that, actually, we decided to join a very big project, which was led by Xiaoba Wang. So essentially, Xiaoba Wang created a new game console for the Chinese market. And essentially, we were leading that project. It was in partnership with AMD. We worked with the Zhongshan government, the Guangzhou province, and created a very interesting product called the Super Z Plus. And then, so we've been in the blockchain space also for a very long time. So we started back in 2011, I believe. We were mining, buying Bitcoins back then when it was on a forum. There was no such thing as many exchanges. And then we followed the space for all this period of time. We saw the smart contract capacity. So we were like, okay, this is really amazing. What can be done? So we decided to merge our experience in the game space with blockchain to create Ultra. So we in the past already created a game distribution platform embedded within the game console, because essentially this is the hardware and the software aspect. So now we just had to merge our experience to think about this new product, which is Ultra. So this is where we are right now.
Got it. Yeah, so you guys are definitely very experienced in the gaming industry. And with Ultra, what are the problems you're trying to solve? Because it feels like the gaming industry is quite mature by now.
One thing that is really important to understand with Ultra is that it's not just a game distribution platform. So we don't want to just do like a Steam copy or a Epic Store copy. There are already stores, they are very successful, but we don't want to compete directly with them. So with Ultra, what we're doing is coming with something really fresh, something completely new. And basically you can look at it as Ultra being a entertainment platform. And so a entertainment platform that is powered by blockchain technology. And around the gaming space, there are many blockchain limitation currently. And so this is really our main focus is in solving the issues to make blockchain technology in the gaming space a mainstream thing, and then providing this in a completely new package, a new type of platform.
Problems that you can see today in the games industry are the discoverability. It's very hard now when you have a new game released to actually get noticed by anybody, because we have like 300 games launched every month on Steam. So sure, you spend tons of time and money building your game, but then nobody sees it. So that's one of the problems that we tackle with Ultra. I would say other issues you also have is the fact that you can't distribute outside of Steam easily. Usually you use their SDK that help you essentially to build your game faster, but also forces you to stay within Steam, because if you want to move out of Steam, you actually have to recreate those same features. So that's the second problem you have really with the industry. In terms of the player's perspective, today when you're a gamer, you have like a not so easy life, because you have to go on Twitch if you want to watch live stream. If you want to participate to a tournament, you have to go somewhere else. If you want to buy a game, you have to go to a third place. When you want to speak to somebody, you have to go on Discord. So each of your interaction are on a different platform. And that's pretty problematic because you don't have a unified experience, and it's complicated. Oh, I forgot my password. I didn't even know this service existed. So there is lots of discovery aspects as well missing in the industry for the moment.
Yeah, we do see a lot of gaming giants that don't do everything. Like you said, Twitch only do streaming, and there are several distribution platforms. And say if you want to get out of Steam, you have to recreate the game, like you said. So what is Ultra's solution that can benefit the gamers and game developers?
I would say in terms of the gamers, so Ultra is first and foremost a one-stop shop entertainment platform. So it enables the gamers to play the game, discover other games, trade items, earn by just using the platform. They can do streaming, they can compete, they can socialize. Essentially, the whole idea is to offer a zero friction solution for the gamers. Once they join Ultra, they don't need to go anywhere else. They have everything they need in a single place. So if you're a player, today you have to go on Steam and all that, but with Ultra actually, you can integrate third-party apps, which means if you have, you can think of us as, I would say, if you think about the iPhone, right? You have like the iPhone with like tons of applications, so you don't need to go anywhere else. You just have your iPhone with everything you need. It's the same with Ultra. We offer first a game distribution platform as part of our ecosystem. And then we integrate third-party applications, which are usually very known brands that already have their user base, are excited to find new users and new review streams with Ultra. And for us, obviously, it gives them the full experience to the players. Game developer side, so the solution today is that it's very hard to get out of Steam, but we found, essentially with our own SDK, we have the feature parity with Steam, which means for a game developer, it's the first time they can actually migrate their game outside of Steam to a new platform seamlessly. They don't need to make much efforts with the same functionalities. So that's very helpful because that's going to drag a lot of content on the Ultra platform as well. And the other aspect is also the blockchain side. Today, game developers, when they hear about blockchain, they are mostly scared because they don't really know how it's going to work. They know it's complicated. And essentially, we simplify the entire experience for them as well. So for the players, but also for the game developers. So for them, when they want to use an interaction, for example, with NFTs, they want to change the items in the game by NFTs, they can simply use our SDK and then do the migration seamlessly. So this is a big advantage that we also offer to them, is this prime access to the new blockchain revenue model, gameplay possibilities, and all that.
Today, if you look at the problems related to the blockchain technology, often comes into how to deal with secret keys. And that's a major issue because, you can't ask a kid to say, hey, write on a piece of paper these 12 words and promise don't lose it. They are going to lose it. They're kids. Yeah. So it's their job to make these mistakes. So we need to find, like a lot of companies are looking for solution to make it easy for people to recover their blockchain accounts, and so we have a solution that is really foolproof, or I should say kid proof, that is decentralized and non-custodial. And I don't think anybody has such a solution. I mean, so easy and so seamless than ours. So that's also a very big aspect of our platform strategy. We put a lot of effort making this possible. And this is basically what opens, with the rest of the blockchain technology we've done. But this is one key point that opens access to the mass market, because you want it to be extremely accessible to anybody. And in this regard, basically, when you register your account on Ultra, what you don't know is that in the background, we've done a lot of complicated stuff for you. And you just registered like your account in the same way you did on Steam, for example. And then basically, once the platform is there, you have a blockchain account. You don't even need to know about it. We've done it for you. And when you need to recover your account, for example, installing Ultra on another computer, we will do the hard work for you. And it's done in a very interesting way. We will describe in the coming months in a new article.
And David, so what is Ultra's edge, and how has that been reflected in the project's progress so far?
One very important thing is the wealth of knowledge, experience, and the connection in the game industry. That is one thing. If you look at the executive team, I mean, we were speaking of executives from Apple. We were speaking of the CTO of Dell, Time Warner. So we have a really good experience and understanding of the gaming industry, and that is a big differentiator. So there's a lot of innovation going on in the blockchain technology, but many times they are being executed by people who don't have actual experience on the ground making products and catering for such businesses. So this, in terms, in our case, has been proven very useful. And allowed us to secure very major deals, some of which we already announced, such as the partnership with AMD, which is the result of us having previously created the console for the Chinese market. But then also, Ubisoft, and then some others we will announce in the coming weeks and months. So, so I think that's one very good point. On top of that, we also have a very unique approach to how we make the platform. Like I mentioned just before, we're creating a entertainment platform. And that means that you have gaming in all kinds of ways inside the platform. Nicolas mentioned you go to one platform with a single login, single registration, you get access to everything. And that includes our platform, but also third-party services. So you're going to see live streaming, tournament, chat, cloud gaming, item trading, and so on. And so basically what that means is our core framework, the concept of Ultra, is a collaboration with other companies. And when we approach them, we can see their tremendous interest because we sign deals super easily. And so some of these platforms are going to be announced, and I think people are going to really realize that this is something really special. That is very different, for example, from Steam, where really Steam has control over everything. And if Steam doesn't do something, nothing happens. Only what they want to work on will, appear on the platform. Well, that's not the case on Ultra. So I think we will see a lot of creativity and a lot of very interesting things going on Ultra that even we didn't know were possible. Whether they use our blockchain technology or not, we're open really to the entire ecosystem.
From our past experience, we spent a lot of time, so 8 years in China, both David and myself. My wife's Chinese, so we really love China, so spend lots of time there and understand the business really well. So we also have still good ties with the market. So we work with large partners. So we have, for example, in China, an operator So they operate the platform of Ultra with our brand locally, but they are a very large brand. They have like more than 75 million monthly active PC gamers. So essentially, this is the way that we structure our business. We don't try to make it all ourselves. We just select the best partners locally that we believe are the best fit for us, so that they can actually help us to expand very fast and very well the platform globally. This is also the approach we have.
Yes, and before we started the interview, we were talking about Ultra currently have 60 team members all over the world, and you guys do have the background and you know all the right contacts. You are already like the industry insider, so there's definitely a clear advantage. You already have all the doors open and you know all the inner workings. And we know that one of your advisors is Alan Fu, who is the China president of Unity previously, and he's like really, really helpful and a good friend of mine as well.
Very insightful. So when we talked with him, so we had many meetings even before we started the project with him, and he's extremely insightful when it comes to how to build businesses and so on. And so I think this is important. It's a good point, like, to bring him up, because it's the kind of people that we want on board. Like, we just don't just want a name. We want people that contribute and that help us. And so that comes with advice on how to run business. In his case, is how to run business properly in China, but also introduction to people and overall support in a general company strategy. So this kind of help are tremendous value for us.
Yeah, when we speak about the edge also, so right now, David mentioned we already signed, but actually we signed over 150 game publishers and developers. Some are very known, and this is really because of the connection we have already from the experience. So for example, when we have Ed Moadem, our CSO, he used to be in the space for like 30 years, so he knows literally everybody at the C-level from all those companies. So when we want to strike a deal, we can directly go to the right person and say, hey, it's been a long time. How about we work together again? Sure. So it's a really great way for us to expand our business.
Yeah, that is really awesome. So what's on Ultra's roadmap for the next steps, and where do you see Ultra be in a position 2 to 3 years from now?
There's a testnet that is about to be launched. So we announced recently we completed our protocol development, which is a very unique concept that will allow us to do free transaction, free user creation, and access to the blockchain very seamlessly. And so the testnet is about to be launched with the help of Ubisoft, of Bitfinex, EOS Rio, EOS Nation, and EOS Sul. So really top block producers from the EOS mainnet. And then, of course, following the testnet, there's a mainnet that is going to come. And then soon after, there's a platform launch that should happen by the end of this year. In the meantime, there will be middle steps, some secret stuff that we kept that we will announce in the coming weeks and months. But that's about, what is the most important in terms of a milestone for us.
Got it. And as we know, your token project is UOS. How does UOS fit into Ultra, and why would non-developers want to hold on to UOS?
So in terms of the UOS, it's really central to the platform. But at the same time, we want it to be central, but we don't want this to be also a blocker for the people to join the platform. So every time somebody, for example, purchase a game, if they use fiat, they can use PayPal, for example, or credit card, we actually do the heavy lifting on the background. So we go on exchange, we buy the token, and then we have the UOS that is then used for the transaction. So everything's happening on the platform uses UOS, whether it's also, imagine you want to advertise on Ultra, you're, let's say, Coca-Cola. You actually buy UOS, and those UOS after are used to advertise to the players. to pay for the advertisement, but also as a player, you can earn by watching those ads. So you can receive a percentage of this ad as in US as well. And so that's the case for every transaction. So imagine now you are promoting the platforms. For example, there is a big game coming out. The developers say, okay, I give 10% or 15% of the sale to the person who will speak about the game and sell it. That means that as an influencer, you're on Twitch, you're on YouTube, when you speak about that game, you can give a link. And when somebody buys that game, you get a percentage directly from the blockchain in US. So this is really the currency of the ecosystem, but it doesn't limitate the people from using fiat. As long as the fiat is transferred then to the tokens.
Maybe to this, so for China, obviously we will support WeChat and Alipay. So even if you don't use cryptocurrency, you pay with WeChat, Alipay, we get the payment, we buy this amount of coin on the market, and then we continue using the US at that point. So even for Chinese users, it's absolutely transparent. If you have US, pay with it. If you don't, we buy the US for you automatically.
Yeah.
Got it. And so someone can purchase like a full retail game using EOS only?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Wow.
Any product on Ultra, including DLCs, virtual items, and then some other really cool stuff we will announce in the coming month.
Yeah. The US can also be used for creating the NFTs. So we have also really strong NFT solution that we will unveil very soon, actually. And those NFTs requires UOS to be created. And when somebody receives these NFTs, they can actually destroy them after and get back the tokens inside. So there is many different ways to use UOS. The same way we have a sort of distributed computing solution. So now today you have your computer, you have the bandwidth storage, CPU, GPU, and essentially they are used most of the time not used at their full capacity. And here with Ultra, you just can use a one-click button that will generate UOS for you that you can then spend on the platform. And how it works is if I take an example of AI computing or graphic rendering or just traditional mining, we get these currencies, and then we use those currencies to buy on the exchange the UOS, and you're rewarded in UOS. So we provide you with the currency that you need to use on the platform, but at the same time, we use other means to get that cryptocurrency, which is just marketed by on the exchange.
Yeah. So in this particular case, it's also a partnership we're doing with a technology provider with whom we deeply integrate the solution inside Ultra. And so what Nicolas mentioned, like, of course, there's mining of cryptocurrency, but they also have like maybe big movie makers who need to render CGI or who need to do machine learning or AI computation. And basically they do it through this technology provider. And so when somebody inside Ultra wants to make money, they can click provide my computing power. And then basically he's doing this work, whatever it is. Sometimes it's like CGI rendering, sometimes it's AI, sometimes it's cryptocurrency mining. The system automatically chooses what is the most profitable for the user. He just have to press one button, and then the money that was generated, we will then, with that money, we will buy US coin on the market, and then the user gets that money on his wallet and he can spend it buying games, virtual assets, DLCs and so on. So something that is very unique about our platform in terms of blockchain technology is the way we deal with the blockchain resources. So we wanted to have a blockchain that has free transactions, because we think if you buy an NFT that has a value of 50 cents and your transaction costs $5, it doesn't make sense. So for that, we built Ultra, the blockchain. And the way we deal with the resources is done with some kind of a transaction priority system. So anybody can make transactions for free. and then they're being executed based on how much ultra power you have. So when the network hasn't reached full capacity, which means when the blockchain can handle all transactions, and we will announce it later, but we basically have the fastest EOS-IO blockchain out there. So we're speaking of tens of thousands of transactions per second. But even there, if there are not tens of thousands of transactions, basically anybody can make transaction for free without limitation. But when it reaches this transaction like ceiling, at that point, the blockchain will start executing transactions who are done by the people who have the most ultra power. And ultra power, the way you get it is you take ultra coins and you stake it, and then you receive ultra power. And then this ultra power, every time you make transaction, it's consumed. And then by the end of the day, we recharge your ultra power. So every 24 hours, you get your ultra power back. And so what's interesting by this concept is that user can stake for themselves, but they can also stake for companies. So if you have a game developer, for example, anybody can stake for that game developer, so that if the network reaches capacity, the game developer can sponsor transactions for free for users. So basically the mass market doesn't need to understand what staking is, doesn't need to understand what ultra power is, because the services they are going to access are going to sponsor the transaction for them. In essence, in this particular case, the user doesn't need to understand anything, because the developer that creates the smart contract is the one that knows how to do, how to make the service. And so they are sponsoring the transaction on behalf of the user. And so to further make this possible, and to make like the network kind of clean itself from maybe bad actors who do tons of shitty transaction, people can basically stake for a company like, let's say, Ubisoft, that maybe has a smart contract for, I don't know, the next Far Cry 6 game. And so to ensure that they can always make their transaction, people can stake for Ubisoft, and then they're basically going to be rewarded with US coins. So if you stake for someone, regardless who it is, whether it's for you or for somebody else, you're basically helping the network better prioritize transaction. And for that effort, the blockchain is rewarding you with a percentage of what you've staked in US coins.
Yes, I think ultra power is a very good concept, because right now we all know that the Ethereum network has very high and insane transaction fee, and that's not the way to go, because if you have high transaction fee, it's going to kill microtransaction, which is a big revenue source for gaming developers right now.
Absolutely. And on top of the ultra power concept, we have something that is extremely powerful, and we're also the only ones in the world that have that. Somebody like Ubisoft or any company that has a dApp or a smart contract of any sort on ultra can decide to sponsor users' transaction based on any condition. So for example, they could say, I'm going to sponsor your transaction if you buy this product, because it's a purchase. So of course you want that transaction to happen as fast as possible. So at that moment, when somebody buys, even if they have zero ultra power or whatever the state is, their transaction will be executed. But you can even go further. You could say, if you own a NFT X, then you can do transaction action type, Y. And this creates like all kinds of new monetization strategies, such as, hey, buy this NFT and you get access to my service, for example. And so you can start sharing access to these services through an NFT that can live outside of the typical smart contract realm. Suddenly it's very easy to share it. It makes everything very, very convenient for game developer, but for users as well.
Yeah, it sounds like Ultra is a very ambitious project and with a lot of aspects going to build into it. And I can see that once a minute is online, there's going to be a vibrant community being spawned. And before we close out, thanks for being here. How would anyone follow your project? What's the best place for them to visit? And any last words or comments, final comments before we close?
Definitely. So I would say the best way to follow the project today would be on our Telegram group. So we have ultra_io, which is our address. You can visit our website, ultra.io, and you really have access to our various channels. But I would say we have a Medium with all information, all recent articles that are very interesting, but we also have the Telegram groups. Those are the two best ways to have information about Ultra. If you want to see the Ultra tokens, it's for the moment it's on Bitfinex, Bitrue, and Coin1.
So anything from you, David?
Yeah, so nothing particular. So I thank everybody for following the project. I think there's a lot of really exciting things that I wish I could share. But as you guys have seen, we decided to start sharing, all the work we've kept secret for the past almost 3 years now. And there are amazing news being shared every week. I'm also interested in talking to developers, dApp developers, and so on that are interested in our blockchain solution. So we will make articles for them in the coming months. So there's already one article about our SDK, but we will start talking about how to migrate or how to duplicate existing dApp services from iOS to US easily. And I'm happy to start answering questions on our Telegram, for example.
Awesome. So thank you guys for a great interview. Thank you, David, and thank you, Nicolas. And we do look forward to many of the surprises that Ultra is going to give out to us.
Thanks a lot, Peter.
Take
Thanks,
care,
everybody.
Peter. Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.